Recording stopped. Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, family? What is up? What is up? What is going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's session, today's stream with the Prophet Society family. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys today. Let's get it, family. It's gonna be another banger week. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for this up and coming week, family. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat. Let me know where you guys are plugging in from right now, family, because we are live. We are live. We are live, man. It's gonna be a banger of a week. A banger of a week. Let's go. Let's go. Drop those locations in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. What's going on, Lou in the building? George, Kosi, Ebony, DeFi, Luke in the house, TJ, Tammy, Jose, Sativa. What's up? Christian in the building. Cozy, what's the word? What's the word? How are you guys doing, family? Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. Let's get it. I see we got New York City. We got Albuquerque, New Mexico in the building. Pedro, what is going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream. Again, super excited to be here with every single one of you guys today. Let's see. We got Orbit. We got Orbit in the building. Got a spot on the space station. I love it. All right, we got North Carolina in the house. Cincinnati, Ohio in the building. We got Tampa, Gerson. What's the word? What's going on, family? Welcome to today's section, today's stream. Let's get it. Let's get it. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys today, as usual. Now, I am experiencing a little bit of internet issues a little bit. I'm not sure why. But hopefully it doesn't affect us too much. All right, hopefully it doesn't affect us too much, because for some reason I'm definitely experiencing a little bit of issues overall. But either way, we're good. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started, family. I want to go ahead and get this thing started by taking a look at the actual calendar that we have for the up and coming week. Right, it is a new trading week, new news events that we have to be aware of. And I'm going to be honest. This week, family, is going to be a crazy week. Right, there's a ton of news. There's a ton of news this week, man. So we definitely got to be prepared this week, family, because it's going to be a super volatile week overall, especially near the end of the week. Because we got a lot of big news events coming out, man. And these news events can absolutely shake up the markets for sure. All right, we got New Jersey in the building. What's going on, Linda? Good to see you in the chat. Appreciate you so much for tuning in. Let's get it. But let's go ahead and go through this really, really quickly, family. Not going to waste too much time with the news. Again, I'm experiencing a little bit of issues, but hopefully it really doesn't mess up, because I keep on losing connection. But let's go ahead and go through this really, really quickly, family. So overall, to start off the week today, we don't got nothing crazy unless you're actually focused on trading Australian pairs. Right? We do got retail sales for the Australian dollar dropping in around 21 minutes. I personally don't trade on Sundays, but I know people that do trade on Sundays. Right? In fact, I know some people on the team that love taking trade on Sundays. Right, so if that's you, if you do trade on Sundays though, and you're trading any Australian dollar pairs, family, please be mindful there is retail sales dropping in about 20 minutes, and that could definitely go ahead and shake the markets for sure for the Australian dollar. Now going into tomorrow, family, we don't got nothing too crazy besides a bank holiday over here for the pound for the UK. Right, it's going to influence the pound itself because obviously bank holidays, this pretty much tells me there's not going to be that much liquidity in the markets overall. Right, so all you pound traders in the building, be mindful, man. Tomorrow we do got a bank holiday, so there might not be as much volume or volatility, and your strategy might not hit the same way with that lack of volume, right? So just be mindful of that, right? But let's go into Tuesday, family. On Tuesday, we have some consumer confidence news. We got job openings going to be coming out as well that are pretty much the two more important ones. And I'm actually very interested to see how consumer confidence comes out, right? Because consumer confidence can lead into a lot of other things, right? Like how are we as consumers, right? How do we as consumers feel about the current state of the economy, right? The current state of our country, right? And depending on what that answer is, right, can absolutely influence, sentiment in the market overall, right? So that's going to be interesting to see. Now going into Wednesday, guys, this is really where the fireworks really start. We have ADP non-farm employment change coming out at 8:15 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, but we also have GDP coming out as well right after, literally 15 minutes after that. And that's going to be extremely volatile. Two events back to back like that. Oh boy. It's going to be a lot of movements in the market just off of that alone, family. So beware of that. We do have ADP non-farm employment 8:15. followed by GDP, gross domestic product, at 8:30, right? And that's going to be some bangers. Now, moving forward into Wednesday, we do have some pending home sales news data, which I don't really pretty much focus too much on that, but it is a high volatility news event, so you do kind of want to just be aware of that. We also do have crude oil inventories at 10:30 as well. Now let's go ahead and go into Thursday, where we have some more fireworks. All right, now Thursday is going to be interesting because we have some Euro news. We have some CPI coming out for the Euro. As of right now, they are expecting to see their CPI actually decrease, which will be pretty good for them over there, across the seas. And they also have their unemployment rate. Right now, again, if you trade any Euro pairs, that's going to affect you. In fact, if you trade any dollar pairs, that's going to affect you as well. Why? Because the Euro makes up over 50% of the dollar index, right? The basket of currencies that is measured against the dollar in the DXY, 50% of that, over 50% of that is actually the euro. So whatever happens to the euro is definitely going to have some type of effect on the dollar itself. So we kind of got to be aware of that. But at least as of right now, the expectation is that their their inflation is actually expected to drop. Now we'll see if that's true or not, if it actually stays that way, but that's pretty much the rumor for right now. Now moving forward, guys, even more important news events at 8:30, right? We have core PCE price index and PCE price index coming out. Big boys, right? Because again, this is a measure of inflation, and this is the measure of inflation that the Federal Reserve truly enjoys and truly likes, right? So whatever happens here, right, for PCE can absolutely influence our markets for sure. Now, core PCEs month to month is expected to stay the same. Year over year, they're expecting it to actually increase by 0.1%. Now, headline PCE is at 3.0%. They're expecting that to increase to around 3.3% from a year-to-year perspective. So as of right now, based off PCE, they are expecting inflation to increase. Now, family in the chat, one question, right? If we are expecting inflation to increase, and if it actually does come out and it increases, is that going to be good news or bad news for our economy? Let me know in the chat. Go ahead and answer that in the chat one time, family, right? If PCE comes out higher than expected, which is what is being, that's what's being forecasted right now, is that good or bad for the economy? Let me know in the chat, family. Let me know in the chat. Is that good or bad for the economy? Yes or no? Right? Because we got to be aware of that. Right? But that is definitely something we have to be aware from. 8:30 a.m. Eastern is going to be absolutely interesting. Best thing about it is we're going to be live for most of these news events. We will be live trading together, right? So that's going to be dope to see for sure. Now, outside of the PCE news events, we also have the initial jobless claims coming out as well for Thursday. And then on Friday, to pretty much wrap up the week, right, we have average hourly earnings, we have non-farm payrolls, and we have the unemployment rate for the US dollar. Again, another major event that we have to be aware of and that will absolutely shake up these markets. Okay? As of right now, non-farm payrolls is expected to drop, but we'll see if this is actually true or not. Who knows? These numbers, these job numbers have been very, very unpredictable lately, so we'll see how this actually ends up coming out. Now, we also do have some CAD news, right, at 8:30 as well, with GDP coming out. So if you have any CAD traders in the building, definitely be mindful of that. GDP can absolutely shake up these markets. And then to finish out on Friday, we have ISM manufacturer and PMI data. Again, another big boy event, right, at 10 o'clock. So as you guys can see, family, we have a lot of news on the horizon this week, man. And the most important one, in my opinion, is definitely going to be PCE price index, because that's just a measure of inflation, and that's been like the main focal point for the past year and a half. But I'm also interested to see, man, how NFP comes out, and also how, ISM manufacturing PMI data also comes out, because all that stuff can absolutely shake things up, guys. But overall, like I said, man, it's going to be an absolutely crazy week this week. A ton of news on the horizon, and I think we have to really be prepared for that overall. All right, but let me see. Give me 1 second, family. Right, but in the meantime, in between time, I actually want to go ahead and ask the boy Skaggs, right? Because we do have the entire team in the call today. Shout out to all the guys in the team, right? But I actually want to go ahead and get Skaggs' opinion on this up and coming trading week in terms of news, what his ideas are, what his thought process is, and what he's really looking forward to going into this week from a fundamental standpoint, right? So Skaggs, my brother, I appreciate you. And Yeah, bro. Let me know your thoughts if you are able to actually go ahead and drop those real quick.
Yes, good evening, bro. You can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. What's going on, bro? To be honest with you, I knew we were gonna have a volatile week in regards to news. I seen the Discord talking about it, earlier today. So that was about as much as I knew, as I was watching you go through this calendar here. So, first opinions, biggest day for me, definitely that PCE news. I believe you said it to, no surprise really. Again, other inflationary reports that have recently come out higher. It's been a big reason why I've, been trading the direction of bullish dollar. So I do expect that to continue. And then as we get into the end of the week, I become less interested. Um, I'm not really that big of an NFP person. I am interested to see what unemployment comes out as, just because again I know the Fed is watching that very closely. Powell's got his eye on it. So I got my eye on it as well. But I'm usually not trading that day. I'm just kind of sideline, making sure the numbers make sense. So yeah, excited to play inside of the volatility. I do know we have some other inflationary reports for other currencies, but my eye is just mostly on the dollar these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, to see how it is. But as of right now, man, the forecast is definitely that it's gonna increase, and it's definitely not a surprise seeing how CPI and PPI came out, most recently for sure. So we'll see what the market gives us, family. But I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, just the way everything's been leaning towards or leaning and everything. I mean, I'm just expecting personally. And
Also, let's real quick as well. We may as well hit on some of the Jackson Hole headlines
yeah, good.
from last week as well, because some of the comments from Powell were also very clear on what they're looking at with interest rates. Again, they have not ruled out the possibility of adding, potentially more hikes if the reports kind of stay on trend.
Hmm.
This is why I have been playing into bullish dollar. Again, once we've seen these inflationary reports turn around, again, those fears are going to come into the market of, okay, well, we thought we had a handle on inflation. It's been trending down for about a year. So it was a pretty good little downward trajectory there. But
Hmm.
first time that inflation upticks in a year, and it comes in across the board. Oil still trades high. So again, not that they're going to do it, but money starts to flow a certain way when things open up as a possibility. So all Powell did was kind of add fuel to that fire.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's tough for me to specifically trade against that.
Hmm.
Uh, if a technical stab makes sense, we'll explore that. But outside of that, it is important to note that Powell's statements, specifically, I believe on Friday, were very, very much bullish dollar bias.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you. I agree. 1,000% I agree. And that's why I'm looking for bullish plays, man. I'm personally looking for continuations. I mean, I've been very bullish for a while now, and it's just very hard for me to go against that, right? So I'm definitely bullish here on the dollar. And personally, I'm gonna be seeing how we react off of this 103,500 level, right? I think that that is a very interesting key level. That could potentially really warrant us a nice reaction back to the upside, right? If not that, maybe a little bit under it, 103, 300, anywhere around this key level, in my opinion, is definitely very attractive. My favorite opportunity to get involved is definitely going to be down here, right? I would be a big fan of buying the dollar guys below this 103, 300 level. If we're able to go ahead and get that low, then I will be a big, big, big buyer of the dollar itself. But I do have two levels that I'm very interested in. Right? It's either we go ahead and we wick fill, right? We fill this wick right here to the left, and then we go ahead and we react bullish. That's a possibility, right? Or, we go a little bit lower into the LP, the liquidity pocket, and then from that liquidity pocket that also, grab liquidity, we can also react off of there as well, right? So I'm definitely bullish the dollar personally. I just got to see how we react off of either, this level right here, the 103 750s, or even below the 103 300s down at this, liquidity pocket down here. I'm very, very interested in looking for some continuations. So that's just pretty much where I'm at overall. I'll go straight into what I'm looking at in terms of pairs I'm gonna be trading. My focus for this week is gonna be gold, and then it's also gonna be GJ. But I'll touch on gold real quick, because gold is gonna be a beauty, man. I think I've been absolutely destroying gold the past couple weeks. It's been my main focus. 95% of the trades I've taken over the past 2-3 weeks have literally been on gold. And I don't feel like I need to change that, right? So I'm definitely going to be very much looking for opportunities to trade gold. And I'm bearish, right? I'm bearish gold, right? If I'm bullish the dollar, then I'm definitely going to be, looking for continuations to the downside here on gold. I mean, if we look at gold on these bigger pictures, right, all we're doing right now is creating these lower lows, lower highs, right? And I would love to see us, continue in that overall direction, which is lower to the downside, right? Now, there's two opportunities I'm gonna be keeping my eye on here for gold family, right? The first opportunity for me is a break back below 1902 300s, right? Because that is a major level of structure right there, right? That 1903 level, 1903 300s, 1903, actually 1902, yeah, around 1902, 1903, that area. If we can go ahead and break below that opportunity, then or that level, then I will be a big fan of shorting this market, right? On a nice strong break below this level, right? A nice little retest and then a continuation type of play, right? That's just very simple, basic stuff. That's what I would love to see, gold do. If that happens, I'm shorting the hell out of it. The other side is that we actually start bullish for the week, right? Maybe just to go ahead and, grab some more liquidity to the upside. So maybe we go ahead and even spike up towards that 1937 level, right? That's also another major key level as well. And I will be interested in also reacting off of that if that's what the market ends up reaching towards. So those are going to be my two plays, man. It's either we're going to be looking to short off 1937 or we wait for the breakout of 1901, 1902, and then I'll go ahead and look for continuations off of that. Now, the other thing I might consider, and it really depends on, obviously where we're at, tomorrow morning for New York session. Maybe we can even go ahead and just take out this high right here, and still have, reasons to go short as well, right? So that's also a consideration depending on how we react off of after we sweep these highs, if we sweep those highs. But that's something that again I'll have to play it, as I'm actually analyzing price action in real time, right? But without that, again, these two levels are definitely going to be the areas I'm focused on to see if we can get some type of opportunity from for sure, right? For sure, right? So that's gonna be my focus overall, guys, on gold, and I'm excited to see what that gives us because I think if we can get a solid entry to start the week, right? If tomorrow, for example, right? If tomorrow we do end up spiking up and we either reach the 1937 and give us a reason to short, or we spike above, we get back within the range, and then we can short as well on that. I will be extremely excited because my whole idea, right, is to try to get an entry early on in the week that I can hold throughout the news, right? Because right now, based off the news and what's forecasted, that is definitely leaning towards weaker gold based off the news currently. If all the news comes out as expected or as being forecasted, then we should see lower pricing here for gold, right? So if we can get an opportunity to go ahead and go short, whether we, grab this liquidity here and then get back within the range, or we reach towards that 1937 and then we look to short there, I'm just looking to get involved. I'm looking to hold a position throughout the week to see if we can capitalize off of that extra volatility that's going to come because of all the news, right? So gold is definitely going to be on my table. It's going to be on my horizon. I'm definitely going to be focused on it, and I'm just excited to see what we actually get from it because I think it's going to be a banger. All right, I'm going for like an all-time record this week. I'm trying to make like a substantial amount of money, and it's probably going to be off of gold, right? So we're going to see what the market gives us for sure off of that, right? So that's going to be dope. But besides that, that's going to be my focus. GJ is another one that I'm going to be interested in. Now I am bullish GJ. I've been bullish GJ forever. And I'm still bullish GJ, right? It's just a matter of now waiting for the right opportunity, right? So I do have two levels that I'm very interested in. We could possibly go bullish, maybe off of the sweep of this wick right here, get into this little bit of a pocket of structure, of liquidity, and then go bullish. Or for all my white golf guys, right, you can say that this is probably just accumulation occurring. Wait for that spring to happen, and then if we could go ahead and capitalize off the spring, then that's also another way as well. But I'm bullish GJ, man. I want to look for opportunities to go long on this. So we're going to see if the market gives this to us overall, but I'm definitely leaning towards the upside for sure on GJ in my opinion, right? I know a lot of traders are probably going to be looking at, GJ and saying, oh man, Abel, bro, like, what? Bro, look at all this momentum that we just had, right? Look at that crazy sell-off, bro. We just broke structure too. We went from creating this higher high to now creating this lower low, right? Shouldn't we go create a new lower low after that? I mean, if you're solely relying on technicals, sure, right? You can do that, right? But I'm not relying on technicals, right? I don't ever solely just rely on technicals, right? I always have some type of fundamental bias in the back of my head that gives me my direction, right? And I'm bullish GJ just because I've always been GJ, and it's from a fundamental approach, right? The differences in central banks is still very clear, right? So I'm very much bullish because of that. So yeah, from a technical standpoint, some of y'all might be like, bro, let's just create a low, blah blah blah. We could just go, yeah, good luck. I think we actually go ahead and we truly just continue bullish in this market. So I'm bullish, GJ. I'm looking for reasons to go, to look for some buys. It's going to be closer near these lower levels around the 183s, right? Somewhere in the 183s, and we'll go ahead and take advantage of it for sure off of that. But besides that, though, family, that's pretty much gonna be my two main focuses. Gonna be gold and GJ for this up and coming week, and we'll see what the market ultimately does give us off of that. But I want to go ahead and pass it off to one of the guys, see what they have, look at their perspectives. They can give you their setups that they're looking at for sure. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see what they got going on as well, right? So whoever's ready to go ahead and take over, Skags, Ray, or Kyle, definitely go ahead and do your thing, man. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys are looking at.
I mean, one of the other boys can go if they want. I personally, I won't be doing too much. I'm already hedged the market, so there's really not much else I can do. So, I still remain short on EU from like 110, and then I have buys on gold from like 1887, I think it is, 88. So, in my situation, it's a little different. I'm just kind of seeing which side wants to win. I have tried to stab EU to the buy side. It has not worked. The euro is not in a position of strength in itself. It's one of the worst pair I could be trying to trade. So gold's been holding up better. But yeah, man, I'm not really looking to do too much this week. I'm kind of just looking to get more confirmation on one direction and then letting that kind of dictate and play out.
Word, word. I see some stuff. I see a couple setups that I'm willing to take some opportunities and take some jabs at. Primarily just starting out with GU. I do think GU is gonna drop some more. I just feel like it has the possibility of, making a bullish move. How far it'll go, I don't really know personally. I just do think that just considering where we are on the higher time frame, there's a possibility for us to react out of this large sell to buy area. Um, and also looking at all of the price action below this low, there's nothing else that really needs to be balanced. This is the last area of price that hasn't really truly been mitigated. As we can see, all the previous lows have actually came back to test previous areas of supply or demand, excuse me. So understanding that this is the last unmitigated area of demand, I do see how the market has come and just touched into that area. One thing that I am fully aware of is that considering that this point of interest is about 65 pips or so, I am, more open for it to drop one more time. Reason being is because with the 65 pip, point of interest, the likelihood of me getting my big reversal after just pushing 5 pips into it probably isn't as high as if I was to wait for it to push lower into that point of interest. I still feel like we have a lot of demand that we can fill in still. So I do believe that we'll probably get a sell off, all right, into lower areas at like 1.252. Once I get down to about 1.252, I'll probably be a lot more open to taking jabs at the buys just simply off of risk to award purposes. Even if I was just to come and clear this high, I would be satisfied with that. But I do see us potentially coming to grab this high up here. And then from there, maybe it continues bearish, maybe it just continues bullish. Like, I'm not positive in terms of long term. If I'm just going strictly based off of structure, I would say it has the potential to go bullish for quite a while. But I could see 300 pip buys, But at the end of the day, primarily me being more intraday, I am just playing this just based off of it being more of the extreme of this low, right? So win or lose, if there's anywhere I would like to buy, it'll be in this area. So regardless of what the overall DXY is doing, regardless of what, you know, I mean, even fundamentally to a degree, everybody has their approach. But for me personally, considering that this is a breaking point or a bounce or break type of area, that's why I feel like I should at least entertain the possibilities of demand coming in, whether it's long term or temporary at this particular level. I'm always aware that the market has the potential to clear out the low first before it wants to continue bullish. So I will account for that as one of my entry opportunities as well. I'm always open to taking two entry opportunities at a particular setup. So with that being said, my first entry will be at 1.252. My second one will probably be below once my stop loss of that entry gets tapped. If it gets tapped, I may be willing to take another entry there, risking 0.5% per opportunity. And then from there, we'll be able to, that will give me my 1% risk on GBP USD. So, I'm just looking at these turning points right here and just hoping to see what we can get. We could possibly get like a little sell-off coming up from here. Obviously, I was able to sell up here. I'm fully out of this position. So since I am fully out of that sell position, which was a banger, by the way. Hope you guys are able to capitalize on that if you're part of the private community. But just realizing how the market is starting to slow down a bit, I am anticipating a third drive, right? Looking for like that 3 drive sequence. All right. Like, I'm not a huge wick off guy. I can't mark up all the all the, labels and stuff like that. But what I can tell you is that when the market is in a state of accumulation, it does like to give us 3 drives in certain types of accumulation. Not every type is necessary, but I do feel like a third drive to the lows would be necessary in this particular setup, considering that the point of interest itself is so wide. All right. So that is the setup that I am looking for. Hopefully we have another phenomenal week on GU. Like I said, GU has been treating me great. My first trade on GU in a little while, ever since I took buys over here, I took a little buy over here. So, I went about I want to say a week or two ever since, what was that, August 10th. So yeah, I went about nearly 2 weeks without taking any trades on GU. So I am grateful for the sale that it did provide me. Maybe we can get a sale down into this area. That would be a little more risky on the risky side of things, to take the sale down to the buy. But if I'm being honest, I do see that being a potential opportunity as well. And, this is just the way that I go about the markets. I do see opportunities in multiple different areas. Maybe if the market comes up here, we could see ourselves taking a short opportunity down to the potential buy opportunity, because it's all about risk to reward for me. I'm not like scared to be wrong, because again, if I can catch a 1 to 20 trade every week, I mean, I'm gonna be profitable regardless. I don't really care to miss a couple swings, right? I don't care to miss a couple jabs. So for me, I'm a shooter. That's one thing for me. Like they say, some people they'll shoot you in the game or shoot you out, but there's some people that just like, they're not gonna hesitate. They're gonna put up their 20 shots a game. There's some players that they're aggressive, right? I'm not recklessly aggressive, but when I see my edge, I take the trade. And that's one thing I want a lot of people on this call to understand, that, you know, it's not necessarily your job to be very what is it, emotional in terms of what you think the market's going to do. I really just trade based off of whether or not my edge has presented itself or not, right? But just with that being said, based off of my technicals here, I do see this buy to sell candle. We do have this area of imbalance. We also have a hezzy crossover. On top of that, I do see the potential for this to be a semi-weak low. So if we can somehow respect one of these areas of demand to pop back up to this level, I'll be honest, I'll be interested in that level. I'll be interested at, what price is that? I'd probably entertain a trade at 2634, right? 2634. As long as I get 1 to 5 bare minimum out of every trade setup I'll take the trade with no hesitation, right? So as long as this is gonna give me a 1 to 6, so in my opinion, that's worth it to actually take that opportunity as well, right? So pretty clear setup. Obviously, we sweep highs. We come up here. After we come up here, now we see supply is now starting to gain control. So since this area of supply hasn't been mitigating yet, I'm essentially looking for that to be respected. All right. So that's that. Make sure I check the chat real quick. All right, so that's that. Just moving on. So we got a sell to buy on, potential sell to buy on GU. GBP CAD, I'm looking at something similar on GBP CAD, just due to the fact that overall, I do feel like some bullishness can come into the markets. But the reason why I'm gonna be patient is just due to the fact that this low does not look like it's created enough strength for me yet. So I don't want to buy from this low if I don't have a lot of faith in that low. So if I don't have faith in it, I look for a sweep of that low, and then we could potentially reverse from there. I do have this point of interest marked up here, but once again, just like the other trade, I am fully aware that the market may want to use this as liquidity as well. So my first entry opportunity will be beneath this low. Excuse me, that line sucks. Let me redraw that. Below this low, with my stop loss below this low. And if that trade doesn't work out, I may take another opportunity down here, looking for my stop loss below here. So those are my two options there. I'm looking for the market to potentially come here and then bounce, or come a little bit lower, then bounce. But either way, I am looking for some relief from all of these sales. Looking for an opportunity to go bullish on this pair, right? And if we do look to the left, we do have a couple areas that we could consider areas of demand, whether it be this or whether it be that. Play both of them. That's why you have risk management. So, not to take careless trades, but there are scenarios where you can have more than one point of interest and still be, you can still be doing things the right way. Everything doesn't play out to the pip every single day, right? When it does play out to the pip, that's great. But there are times where you have to be flexible in the point of entries that you're willing to take. All right. So that's my GBP CAD scenario. Outside of that, I don't see much else on GBP pairs. I will just run through this real quick. I already kind of looked at a handful of pairs, but I do just want to make sure I ain't missing nothing. EuroCAD, shout out to y'all that caught that last week. I personally missed out on this by a half a pip, but some of you guys, had the awareness to hop in. So shout out to y'all. Euro AUD, looking for the market to probably drop a little bit more. So I'm not really interested in that. Euro Chef. Yeah, not very interested in that either. Right now, it's really just looking like GU, excuse me. Right now, it's just really looking like GU. On this particular pair, I'm not interested in the buy as much as the sell. And I guess this kind of goes along with, me believing that GBP USD can buy up for a while before it sells again. It's kind of the same approach that I'm having towards AUD USD. I don't see a buy that I want to take just yet, but I do believe that we could somehow find our way back up into this area. And if we can get, to 0.656, I could see the potential for me taking some shorts up there. But I feel like we're still a couple areas away from that. I do feel like this low will consolidate a little bit longer. Maybe if we can come challenge this low a little bit just to at least come up bullish in this retracement to give me that sell opportunity. That'll be something that I'm interested in, but that still has a little ways to go. Like the market still has to form and create a little more, price action for me there. Now AUD JPY on the other hand, this is actually getting pretty close to where I'm open to entertaining it. You know me, I ain't afraid to take no setup on Sunday whatsoever. I am open to the concept that this market could drop from here. Just looking at the market overall, I do see supply still somewhat in control. I do see this low here, so I am aware of this low. But at the same time, I haven't seen enough that makes me quite want to switch my analysis to bullish long term. Obviously, the market could very well be in a retracement type of phase right here. So I am aware of that. But even still, I do believe that we could possibly get that one more sell out of the scenario. So even if we were just to sell down to here before going bullish, that still gives me plenty of opportunity when I'm playing off the lower time frames. So I'm not saying that it's not bullish on the higher time frame. I'm just saying that I'm bearish intraday. You can be bullish for the week and be bearish for the day. And that's just one thing that I go by in trading. And it allows me to have more opportunity versus, having to be waiting for a long period of time for one setup when you can see the setups within a larger setup. So I do see the potential for it to go bullish. Either way, I still see us having a little more bearishness in this particular market. I don't trust this low right here that much, which is why I do think that there's a chance we push a little bit lower. Maybe we respect this level down here somehow. I'm not quite sure. I'm leaning more towards it going a little lower than that. But either way, I don't think that this low is what's going to make new highs. So if the low isn't going to make new highs, then what it has to do is find a place to go the opposite way. The market can only go up or go down. So when I see, this tiny sweep of the low right here, and when I see the way the candlesticks are forming, I don't believe that that's going to be a peak low. I just don't, right? I do think we got some opportunities to go a little bit bearish, all right? So that's AUD That is getting pretty close. So I would, keep my eyes on that opportunity Let me see if I can find like a specific entry point for y'all. So far as the specifics on the entry point, I mean, the safest thing you could do is, in my opinion, if you play that buy to sell candle, that'll be one of the more safer moves. Some people like to take the entire buy to sell region, right? So some people take the candle right here, and some people take the entire region. I can't really tell you which one you should do. All I know is that one produces better risk to reward than the other. So if you take the buy to sell region, I'd say, 94.44 is a decent price to take the trade from. But if you want it from up there, take it at 94.58. Kind of just depends on your preference. Overall, the point of interest that I'll be looking to trade from is probably about 30 pips. So, just be aware of that as well. It's not the smallest point of interest that I've ever traded. So, that's one thing that I'm paying attention to there. So, all in all, just got a couple setups that I'm paying attention to. Not kicking the week off too heavy. A lot of moves still in that impulsive phase from last week. But these are the trades that I feel like have a possibility of being traded. I will take a quick peek at gold as well. I was looking at gold a little earlier. And now, obviously, I don't trade gold that often. But this with that being said, I do see a possibility for some sales to come into play, right? I do see a possibility for some sales to come into play. Just off the fact that market pushed lower here, we swept some highs, made new lows. Overall, I'm targeting this low here. So even though I'll probably TP about there, I do believe that the market can drop down to like 1896. All right, if we can get down to like 18, 96, I will be very satisfied. Anybody else seeing a blurry screen? I'm not sure. Type yes or type blurry or good in the chat if it's blurry for you. Somebody in the chat said the screen is blurry. I'm watching the stream on my phone right now, and it doesn't appear to be blurry from my point of view. Okay. So I do want to maintain long biases on gold overall. But I do want the market to come a little lower first because it just has to give me a buy opportunity, right? I'm the kind of guy that likes to sell into buy opportunities, right? So the same way the market was here, right? Let's say you wanted to catch this buy down here. Let's just say you want to catch this buy down here, right? Then the market came up here and made new highs, swept highs. And if you've seen a pattern in here, I would be all for you selling down to this buy again, right? Some people call that risky, but me seeing, internal range liquidity being built, I see no problem with selling down into a buy. So that's essentially what I see happening here, where, the market obviously pushed up into new highs from this low point. We do have some weak lows that rest in between the range. So this is the low of my range. This is the high of my range. And now I've witnessed the market starting to transition bearish, where we actually swept highs and made new lows right here, where we took highs and pushed to make a new low, right? And we also did the same here with that wick. I know typically we don't like to trade out of those wicks, but the reason why I'm comfortable trading out of this wick in this particular scenario is because this is retracement structure anyway. So I don't mind a wick being left behind here because I believe the buy down here is what's gonna clear that wick permanently that's being generated up here. So I'm fully aware that there's liquidity, a little bit of liquidity left behind. Fully aware of that. I just feel like in retracement structure, you need a little liquidity left behind because at the end of the day, you're going for higher time frame highs, right? So with that being said, it's in a pretty significant area. I do think the market has the potential to go. I do think the market has potential to go. It could go. But if it wants to go further than that, we could have some long-term buys on our hands. Just kind of depends on what type of mood the market is in. But I see us at least getting up to clear those highs. And, if the market really wants to feel good, maybe it'll go even further. All right. But that's essentially all I see, guys. I don't know if anybody else is on board with that or other people have other opinions, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. But yeah. Make sure I'm checking. Yeah, that's what I see, guys. So two potential sell to buys on GU are the primary setup, or potential sell to buy on GU, potential sell to buy on gold are the two setups that I'm personally most interested in. 1918.8 would probably be where I take some opportunities there. Okay. So that's all I got, guys. If anybody else wants to grab screen after that, feel free to. I don't want to hold too long. I can rant all day if that's what y'all want, but I definitely want to make sure that people get the opportunity to speak as well. So I don't know, Kyle, if you got anything you want to share, bud, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the market is in a weird position right now for looking at setups. But to be honest, overall, I do expect some sort of retracement here in the dollar, but it's just been so bullish that I'm at the point where I need to see some extra confirmation before doing so. So I kind of just want to see what we do overnight and see if we can get a continuation of that. Possibly we could spike up, do something like this, and then maybe catch a continuation off of it. But there's nothing really showing that as of right now. We could also do something like this and just continue to the upside. So I mean, I break out of this range. If I wanted to be in the cells, I feel like I would have already been in. So I'm probably gonna wait until later on this week when we have these news events popping out. It is NFP week, so obviously I will be aggressively looking for entries, but if it's not meeting my confirmations, which is really nothing right now, because I kind of do see the possibility of this news wick getting taken out. So I'm like still in the mindset of like, okay, I want to see this news wick on USD CAD also get taken out. So that could present some opportunities, and then we can reevaluate once it gets lower. Same with Euro USD. Like I kind of do want to see the news wick get taken out. Probably reach for some higher imbalances, especially it being NFP week. If it's gonna make moves, it wants to get into territories that we can make some moves off of. So possibly a rebound here coming soon for these pairs, if you ask me, because on the 4 hour, we tend to mitigate these. So it's definitely possible for us to return, and maybe even feel some more imbalance before going lower. But um, I think this is valid for us to start reacting off of. Whether that gets us higher, that's a question for later on. But overall, on the monthly time frame, we are following order flow. So we've mitigated off of the monthly candle once and then created higher highs, and now we're doing the same. We're following that order flow. So we've got about 3-4 days left on this monthly candle. If this monthly candle ends up closing like this, then maybe my perception would shift and think more downside. But we still got about 3-4 days left on this monthly candle, and we can, especially after mitigating this candle, we can definitely flip up a little bit and actually close slightly bearish, not so bearish, and that could be a indicator for us to continue to the upside. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I don't think we'll get anything tonight, but possibly later on this week to take us into these higher regions and your USD. Now, if we just continue and create a new lower low off of this, same with GU, then I probably will just be like, damn, we probably did miss the move, but overall is a better, higher confirmation setup by us reaching these 4-hour positions. Same with USD CAD, even if I were to buy, I feel like I would buy somewhere down here, like especially if the dollar just decides to continue bullish. Down here is a level that I would probably buy from. So in the meanwhile, I'm gonna continue to look for these shorts because let's say we don't react from down here. I kind of just want to stay unbiased in the market this week. But yeah, overall, this is something that could happen. Whether or not this buy continues is like up to the market. But at this point, I think we'll get some selling off from where we're currently at. But definitely like keep an eye on to see if we break this level. If we break this level, then it's gonna be smooth downside. If we start reacting, then I think it's probably just gonna continue up. So I got 2 possible scenarios here for USD CAD. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Like, this is still in play. That's what I want you guys to understand. We were looking at this daily candle for a very long time, and we have yet to break it. We have not broken this daily candle, so technically we can still just go ahead and make a new lower low. Like that's a thing. Until we break this, then I'm probably gonna reevaluate. Yeah, to be honest, until we break and close above this, like I'm still seeking the bear side. So that's why I'm at the point where it's like I want to see what we do tomorrow morning and then possibly catch the entry off the retracement. That would be the best possible lowest risk, high reward trade setup. But let's see. Let's see. Yeah, overall, I'm not sure if any of the other guys have anything. Do you guys have anything to chat? Have anything that they would like? Let me see. Let me check the chat.
I thought we went over most of the pairs that everybody likes. So unless the community has anything that they want us to cover, like EJ or something, but in terms of, GU, gold, stuff like that, I feel like we're pretty much covered on the base foundational pairs that we all like to trade. But again, family, is there anything that we didn't cover that you might want covered that we can go ahead and knock out for you guys? Other than that, I feel like I'm good on my end.
Same. Any questions? Let me know. Let me know. Or if anything, just talk in the Discord. I don't know if maybe if you're newer, if you have the invite link to the Discord, but I'll send the invite link to the Discord in the chat. So if you have any questions, just feel free to contact us in the Discord. We're always active, checking out what it is that you guys are doing. All your guys' questions that you guys may have off stream, but sometimes the market may shift and you're probably wondering what's going on. And a lot of your questions can be answered inside of our Discord. So shout out to all you guys that are currently always chatting with us in the Discord. But if you're not in, click the link in the chat and you will be able to get into our Discord.
One thing I do want to add, guys, is very intentional this week. I was saying this a little earlier to some of my core students where, you want to be intentional every week you have to trade, because it always seems like these weeks fly by. Friday's going to be here before you know it. You're going to have either a week of progress or a week of, regret and excuses. And, assuming that, considering that you can't physically exert force onto the candlesticks, you can't go into your chart and drag a candle down or up to your TP. All of the work that you do is going to be mental and psychological. So I want you guys to really focus as hard as you can this week on how you can be more intentional in your studies, more intentional in your trading, more intentional, safeguarding your emotions while you're in a trade. And, before you take a trade, during trade, after a trade, all of these things. So do your best to really be intentional this week. So that way you can actually grow week after week. It's all about getting better, and not necessarily, you might not necessarily make more money than you ever have this week, but you'll know if you've grown, right? Maybe last week you had a huge week. Maybe there's not as many opportunities this week.